You could actually say buy banana count 5 or buy count 5 banana. Whenever we want to use that parameter, we have to now name it, and can also switch its order with the other parameters. It's simple as that. What would a function call like buy 5 bananas return? Well, it would probably return the bananas that we just bought using the function. This returned value can be put into a variable holding that result. But there are functions, however, that logically wouldn't result in anything, like a function that moves an object, for example. Let's go back to Max for now and open the listener window. This move function is as follows. Move, then it expects two parameters. One, which object to move. I'll use the selected object. Then the amount of the movement, which is a vector. It's a 0.3 value. So I'll actually create an object that I would move, a box, have it selected so that the $sign variable holds this given box, then run this script line. You have seen the movement in the viewport, so it actually did work. And what did the function return? It resulted in the OK value. This is typically the result of functions that don't have a logical value to return, because they just operate on already existing entities. They are not creating anything new. Now, the way to create anything new using MaxScript, like modifiers, objects, materials, is through the usage of functions. For every entity that we can create, there is a function to do so. Like, for example, for box, this function would be box. If we run it, it will create as a default box. These creation functions are called constructors. Let's look up how this function is defined in the MaxScript help. So, I'll just type box here. As you can see, there is no special separate function description for this one like we had seen for show properties. All constructors help is described on given entity's help page. We find box geometry class, which is the MaxScript help page for the actual box geometry object. And there's the name for the constructor, which is box. If we just use the function as is, it creates and returns a box of the default property values. If we want to override some of these properties, we have to use the by name definition of the parameter, as learned before. So let's go back to Max for a second. And let's create another box, changing some of these default values, like set the length to 10, set the width to 10, and set the height segments to 15. These parameter names are actually the parameter names that we have seen here in the help. It's the same name, as you can see. So this line will create us a new box with these newly set default values. All the other properties that we didn't mention here in the creation line were left at their default values. The function call returns this created object, so to catch it, we have to put it in a variable. So my box equals box length, 10, width 10, and height segments 15. And I'll run it again. It created another box. Each time this box function was run, no matter what parameters we used or how we changed those parameters, the function created a new box. That is because MaxScript works in a linear fashion. Basically all commands we use are evaluated right as we run them. There's no stepping back unless we use the 3ds Max undo functionality. So if I go to the select by name dialog, I'll see that there's like 4 boxes already in the scene. So let's delete all these objects we have already. All these objects. I'll just select them like this, hit delete, and run this last line again. Now we only have one box, and that's in the variable myBox. So to access this box, we can use this smile box.